How are we all doing? Well, today I am rockpooling in Northumberland and it is glorious. Look at the sunshine. It's absolutely still calm today. I've got a great big bloody rock pool behind me which I'm going to explore. There are some northern species that we get here that I'm not likely to get in the southwest, because that's where I think of. When I think of rock pooling, it's Cornwall, it's Dorset, it's places like that. Not necessarily Northumberland, but there are one or two species I'm really hopeful that we'll find today. I am also going to go fishing in the harbour later, see what I can catch. But in the meantime, let's get looking in these pools.
I'm in Seahouses this week, which is one of my favourite places in the UK. The coastline is some of the best in England, with sandy beaches, castles galore, and of course not too far away is the Farne Islands, which have some of the best seabird colonies in Britain. So with this abundance of natural beauty, I of course decided to look for tiny wiggly fish in a rock pool.
I've got no idea if you can see behind me, but somewhere on the horizon there is a flock, of eider. And they are one of my absolute favourite birds in the world. They've got one of the most spectacular calls of any bird that you get in the British Isles. The males look phenomenal. The females for a brown bird still look pretty good as well. And they are littered along the Northumberland coast. It's about as far south as you get them. So I'm really chuffed to hear those calling while I'm looking in these pools.
Eiders are the largest duck in the UK and mostly eat things like mussels and crabs. I did also see a weird hybrid eider which looks to be a mallard eider cross, which is rare but does happen. Getting stuck into the rock pools, I had a small net and a bucket to collect whatever I found. These northern pools aren't as densely populated as the southwest, but hold some interesting species. It wasn't long before I caught my first target fish.
So that was pretty bonkers, really. Everyone's going to think I've staged this. I promise you I've not. I literally just looked down and it was in my net. It caught itself. So the only thing I can think of is when I was sloshing around my Crocs, it must have disturbed it and it's gone in my net. I'm going to try and pick this up, but viviparous blennies, or eel pout, they're not actually a blenny, are really slimy. So I'm going to give this a go. Oh, wow. What a little fish. You can catch them on rod and line, but I think I'd be here for years before I got one. So rock pooling was the quick and easy option, but that was the species that I really wanted today. So I'm absolutely chuffed with that. Beautiful fish, orange fins on it. Fabulous. Result.
Eel pout, as I mentioned, are also called viviparous blennies because they give birth to live young and are one of the few fish to suckle. It's not milk, but the young attach to follicles in the mother and get nutrition and oxygen from them. Now, I pride myself on fish ID, however, even I get it wrong sometimes, so when I thought I'd caught a butterfish, it was actually something else.
Oh my God. Well, that was tricky. I didn't film it very well because I had to use both my hands, but I've just been trying to coax the other species that I wanted to get today for about 20 minutes. It kept hiding under rocks. I had to get my hand behind it and then guide it towards the net. But I did get one, and it is, drum roll please, a butterfish, which you can just make out there. And I think it's in breeding colours as well. Oh my God. That took ages. I worked hard for that. I deserve that little fish. Right, let's go and have a look. I was just about to put this fish back and I've looking at it in the net, and it always goes to show you never know everything. It's not a butterfish. It's actually something a little bit more unusual and I guess a little bit rarer. It's a Yarrell's blenny. And the only reason that I could tell it was a Yarrell's blenny is because it's got these things on its head. It's got these little kind of tentacles, a bit like a tompot has them. And I was just about to release it and I thought, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure butterfish don't have those. So it's not a butterfish, it's a Yarrell's blenny. which I've never seen before. It's the first one I've ever caught, so it's still a new species, but that's amazing. Just goes to show, always have a good look at the fish before you ID it, and especially before you release it. But I'm pretty confident that is a Yarrell's blenny. What I'm going to do is just take a nice picture of it on its side in my hand, and I'll confirm that ID when I get in. But that's even rarer. I did not even think we'd get a Yarrell's blenny today, so that's an amazing find. Chuffed to death with that.
The tentacles on the head give it away, as well as the line under the eye. I never got a butterfish on this trip, but it's another excuse to come back. If you get a fish you aren't sure, always get a close-up of the head, body on its side, and make sure the image is nice and sharp so you can ID later. Plenty of rockpool regulars were around, including limpets, which are actually like a snail if you're quick enough to grab one from a rock and look underneath. It was spring when I filmed this, so lots of birds were around, including some stunning house martins with an almost blue sheen to the feathers. They were collecting mud to make nests on the nearby houses. I felt as if 2 species was good enough, so headed to the pier with the fishing rod to see what might turn up. Harbours and piers are always worth a go, as they provide deep, sheltered water that attracts all kinds of species.
Well, hello. So I am now fishing on the pier, and the rod is, ooh, can we see it? There it is, roughly, behind me. I don't have a specific target today. I'm just going to see what comes along, really. Cod would be nice. Never caught cod before, so that would be good. I know they get coaly because I have caught coaly here before, or coalfish, so that would be great. But anything really, anything that turns up. The wind's picked up a touch, but it's still pretty calm, pretty warm. I mean, it is a lovely evening, so to be honest, even if I don't catch anything, I can't grumble.
The iders were ever present, and I whacked out a simple ledger rig with supermarket prawns as bait to see what I could tempt. Almost straight away, I got nibbles, and I was into a fish.
After all that fannying around, there's a fish. Casting everywhere, and caught it right down by my feet. Lovely. Let's get it unhooked and have a look. That is a coalfish. Northern specialist, not the biggest fish in the world, but it's another species of what I was hoping for.
Now this can be a little confusing, as coalfish have multiple names, including coley, saithe and pollock, not to be mixed up with the pollack, which is what most people refer to as pollock. Are you still with me? Pollock with an O refers to Polachius virens, aka coalfish. Pollack with an A is Polachius polachius. I'm probably butchering those Latin names, but it's on screen. I'm actually working on some fish ID videos soon, but a quick way of telling them apart is coalfish have a straight lateral line, colour is normally black or green, small eyes, and a lower jaw that only slightly protrudes. While in pollack, its lateral line is curved, a brown to golden colour overall, big eyes, and a lower jaw that protrudes quite a bit. Hope you enjoyed the vid. I don't need much of an excuse to go rock pooling and plan to do some more vids looking around for them. So if you have any spots that are worth rock pooling, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, liking the video and subscribing to the channel really helps me out. But you can also donate to my buymeacoffee.com link, and all the money from that goes back into making new films for the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. You can check out some other videos in the links here. Also check out my website and social media, as well as the podcast that I host, the Bearded Tits Podcast. Cheers.